and you touched on this, but not just do you believe that you can do it? That's vital, of course, because if you don't believe you can do it, then you don't take actions that lead to what you want. And then when you don't realize what you want, then you start to believe even more that you can't. So then you continue to not take action. I mean, it's a cycle,
right.
you know. But so that's huge. That's huge. That's the first step, is to actually believe that you have the capacity and ability to do it, the capacity to change, that you can change. But the sinister thing is what you just said, those limiting beliefs. And some people may say, oh, well, that's the same thing, but it's not. It's not. I heard a guy talking the other day on a podcast, ironically enough. His name's Ed Milet, and he was saying, if you're an 80-degree person, unless you overcome being an 80-degree person, you're going to be an 80-degree person. He said it doesn't matter if your life and your circumstances and whatever you're doing at the time takes it up to 90, you're going to find a way, subconsciously, behaviors, different things you do to take it back down to 80. And he was saying you have to reset your thermostat.
Yeah.
And that all comes back to the limiting belief. So you take this person you talk about, give them the fantastic workout plan, fantastic nutrition plan. They're pumping iron at Creed, and they're following, my nutrition principles, whatever you want to call it. Even if they get results, if they have not somehow dealt with or shed those limiting beliefs, they're going to crash. Like they don't have a steering wheel. They're going to crash into a wall. They're going to get back to that 80-degree person or whatever. There's a lady I work with. She's been a client of mine for a while, and she's lost over 100 pounds. And she'll come to me and she's like, Corey, she's like, people, it's crazy. People talk to me like I'm this different person now. She's like, I'm still a fat girl. These are her words, not mine.
Right.
She's like, I'm still that fat girl. That's her identity.
That's
her mind. That's her identity.
Right,
you know,
right.
And that's a scary thing, because if she still believes that, she can go back there. And I thank God she hasn't yet. And I believe she's embracing her new identity pretty good. But I really believe that's the reason some people, especially people who have been heavy the majority of their life, people who have struggled to lose weight the majority of their life, they build a personality and a friend group and a social group around that.
Yeah.
And I think they may realize it, they may not. When attempting to make progress, they lose 5 pounds, they lose 10 pounds, it scares them. And they begin to sabotage it, because suddenly how is my friend group going to relate to me if I'm not the chubby girl anymore, not the chubby guy anymore? How's my, what am I going to do when we always go out to Mexican on Thursday night? Like, how are they going to relate to me? How am I going to? It's a scary thing to become a different person.
Yeah, like the fear of loss or whatever. Yeah, so I have a friend who, similar to what you're talking about, and this guy, he makes a lot of jokes about being the fat guy and stuff like that. And so, I was just like, man, I mean, think about how that plays out. Let's say he takes his kid to a birthday party, and there's birthday cake there, If you're telling yourself, I'm the fat guy, ha, 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 look at me, I'm the fat guy, you're probably not going to be able to keep away from the cake. You're probably not going to be able to resist that, because you're thinking to your head, well, what's one piece of cake? I'm the fat guy anyway, and I'm always going to be, so what difference does it make?
Absolutely. And not only are you not going to be able to resist it, you're almost going to feel a responsibility to eat it.
Right.
I'm the chubby dude. I'm the fat guy that's fun loving, and everybody, give me a piece of that cake. It's absolutely.
Yeah. When that becomes your personality and identity, like if you told, everybody has expectations at that party or whatever for whoever to show up, the character that's dressed as a clown, the Disney princess, and the fat guy. And the guy who drinks too much. And, that I think I can apply this to finances. I'm the broke one, or I'm the one that, lives big and just throws money around. To drinking, I'm the one who always gets, more drunk than anyone else, the life of the party. And you take that identity on, and that makes it so hard to change.
Amen. I'll bring it to today, to about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago. I'm about to poop on myself a little bit here.
That's all right.
So I don't mean like literally, like we were talking about earlier. So
You're not defecating
So,
on yourself.
for the vast majority of my life, I've been the what guy?
The
Clint?
fit guy.
No, well, yeah,
The bodybuilder guy.
yeah. I'll get to that in a minute. But
The kind guy. There's a lot of what? There's a lot of stuff.
keep
The
on
very
talking, Clint.
romantic, awesome.
The
super
fair skinned guy.
What time did you think I was going to get here today?
The late guy.
Ah!
The late guy. Yeah.
So for the vast majority of my life, I've been routinely 5 to 10 minutes late. 5 to 10 minutes late. 5 to 10 minutes late. I'll pull up, and I've gotten better with that in recent time. I'm not perfect, but I've gotten better. And I'll pull up in the parking lot today, and I'm a solid 12 to 15 minutes early. And I caught myself. I just pulled up in the parking lot, kind of turned my car off, was listening to the radio, and I was like, wait a minute, why aren't you getting your stuff and going on in? And I really believe it was that subconscious thing into me. My identity, like you said, people expect the clown to show up. They expect the fat guy to show up. They expect, oh, you're the broke guy. You're always got to be broke. My identity was, well, if I walk in there 10 minutes early, what's like, and it wasn't conscious. It wasn't a conscious thing.
Yeah.
Well, what's Clint going to think? You know, and then it even happened when
Yeah,
I
it
came in.
did,
You
right.
said Clint was like, holy crap, like
Right.
I was telling him you wouldn't be here until
Yeah.
10 minutes late, whatever.
Right.
And so that if that's true for me in that little, and I'm not even, I don't think I'm insecure about being the late guy. Like it's something I would like to improve on, and I have improved on, but I don't think I'm insecure about it. Now imagine if it's something that runs much deeper, like being overweight. God, can you imagine then the thing? Oh no, I'm not gonna. And then also the potential shame associated with it. You're the chubby guy, you're the chubby girl, and then you're gonna try to take a stand and move in a positive direction. So I'm going to choose at that social function to not drink alcohol because of liquid calories, to not have that dessert, whatever. Well, you're putting yourself out there. You're serving yourself up on a silver platter because you are scared to death deep down. If I don't lose weight, everybody here knows he started a diet and he failed.
Yeah.
He started and he failed. So it's so freaking hard to even get started
Yeah.
when that is your identity, you
Right.
know?
And then that's a whole nother conversation of all, just all those failures that a lot of people have experienced. They just pile on top of each other, one after the other, after the other. And then it gets to the point sometimes where people just throw their hands up in the air.
Mhm.
And that's where you see the, people 100, 200, 300 pounds overweight. It's just like, whatever. I'm going to do whatever.
Yeah.
But I think about that with business too. A lot of people in their 20s are like fresh college grad, or I'm not going to school, I'm going to go right into this. They throw their heart and soul into the business that they want to be in or the career that they want, experience some failure early on, and then become an employee of a company they don't want to work for, or don't be the entrepreneur they want to be. And I relate to that. That's really me speaking about, myself. And man, anytime I've failed, if I can just keep going and keep pushing and on to the next thing and not worry about like, oh, do people see me as a failure? I might as well just go, move towns or change jobs or, hide myself. I think that's, if you can push through that, like, okay, yeah, I failed a diet, but that doesn't mean that I have to, stay that way.
Can I bring it back around to Christianity, if I may?
Absolutely.
Can I get an amen? So
That'll preach.
Thank you for sharing that, Benjamin. Thank you for being transparent with that and honest. Sharing a little bit of your story, a little bit of your mindset. Because I believe that comes back to the central thing that can free us all. Can free you from those emotions, can free me, can free Clint, can free all, and every single person. I don't know if 11 people will listen to this podcast or if 111,000 or 1.11 million. I don't care. For anybody that's out there and they want to lose weight and they're struggling and they feel defeated, if you can separate your quote unquote failures from yourself, from your identity, because the scenario Benjamin just talked about, he mentioned shouldn't move to a new town. Like that's you take on that failure as your identity, and then suddenly you're no good. You're not worth it. And so, what does this have to do with Christianity? Well, it serves up the thing that saves us from all that: grace, mercy, forgiveness. Don't be mad at yourself. Practice a little grace. Okay, there was a failure, but I'm not that failure. I'm worthy, and I'm loved, and I'm incredible. That's me. That's me. That failure doesn't define me. I'm worthy and loved and freaking incredible. So what just happened, that was an event. Now, some people see that as failure, but that's not me. It's not who I am. So I'm just going to learn from that. And then I'm going to move forward because I'm awesome. And I know that sounds so cliche, so silly, but shame and guilt is what drags us down and puts us in that terrible, terrible, broken, defeated mindset that keeps us from trying, that keeps us from moving forward. Because guess what? We all fail. We're all going to fail no matter what the situation is. But if we can separate our failures from our identity by giving ourselves mercy and grace, then we can really move towards success.
Yeah.
I think that's a key element, especially in nutrition.
Yes.
It's key because people are just so freaking hard on themselves. They give themselves zero grace, and when they have a quote unquote failure and they have that, they go out to Mexican and they, eat all the chips, they eat 2 bags of chips and whatever, it just, the way they beat themselves up mentally from that, it's like they're just, people are relentless with themselves. And so then they beat themselves under the table, and it's just like, I think that's where they just don't even want to try again. It's like, forget it. This is just who I am. I don't have any self-control, whatever.
And you're absolutely right. And it's so much so. I just literally yesterday did a teaching in the Rise Private Coaching Group on the all or nothing mindset. Because these people know what I teach. They know that I'm all about, you guys talk about the radical middle. I call it, specifically in the nutrition world, I call it the magical middle. You've got to learn to live in the magical middle. So they know all this stuff. Yet still, and it's not, and here's the thing, there's some people who are doing incredibly well, but here's the thing, they're scared to death to indulge a little. Because they're like, it's just going to set me back. It's just going to spin me out of control. It's going to undo all the hard work I've done. But if you cannot learn to get past that all or nothing mindset, you're toast. You're toast. And that's exactly why we've come full circle. That's exactly why there's the ketogenic diet and the this and the that, because they're extremes. And people think, well, I couldn't learn to live in the middle. I couldn't navigate that, so I got to go to an extreme. I've got to go to an extreme to get results. Well, good luck. We'll see how that works out for you in 6 weeks.
Well, it's hard to sell the middle. I mean, it's hard
I agree with that. It is hard to sell the middle. That's a good point.
And so people don't know that that's an option. They think it's either keto or keto/Atkins or gluten-free or whatever. And now, the more we learn about addiction too, and, brain chemicals, and I'm not an expert on it at all, but I understand the shame cycle and the way shame cycle contributes to addiction, whether it's pornography, sex, drugs, food, anything that you can get addicted to, nicotine. The more you take on that shame of like, oh, I messed up, or my identity is this, or I'm the fat person, or I'm the alcoholic, or whatever it is. The more you put that on yourself and feel shame for it, your brain is desperate for an escape from that, because you're torturing your brain. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, give me something. What's the fastest way I can escape this situation of shame and guilt? And what it does is it grabs onto, the exact thing that is causing you the shame, whether it's looking at porn, or it's, texting your ex, or it's, going for the ice cream late at night because you feel like crap because you had a hard day. Mm-hmm. And that, that sends you deeper into the shame cycle. And that's why, the more we learn about shame and those chemicals, just knowing that, so that when you do feel shame, you can be like, all right, it's okay. Grace has to precede transformation. You can't transform and then add grace later.
No, correct.
You
Yes.
have to give yourself grace first, and the transformation will follow that. You cannot expect yourself, first I'll change, then I'll be kind to myself.
No,
That
right.
will never happen. Not in a million years.
Phenomenal point. Yes. And grace is the trigger, but it's not an injection. It's not a vaccine that you get once. The daily renewing of your mind. You give yourself grace day after day after day. And then the beautiful thing is, the more grace you can extend to yourself, then the more grace you can extend to others.